If you're a nurse who's been wanting to start a mobile infusion business, but you were just terrified, you're so fearful that you won't be successful, and what if this doesn't work out, and what if I put this much money into it, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that you need a better plan to address these fears that you have. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step, probably each of your fears, and how you can kind of overcome that so you can have a more clear, don't let fear be in the way, and kind of decide, like, is this something I can really do? And so we're gonna start off first with, let's talk about the different types of fears, and it's completely normal. Let me just tell you, I thought about this, it was December of 2 years ago, and I knew I wanted to do it, but it took me like 2 months in order to, like, just thinking of it back and forth. And you may be like, Tiffany, I've been thinking about this for 2 years and that's completely normal. But just know that either way, our fears are probably the same. So here's probably the fears that you have through and how you can work through them. So first is gonna be your fear of, like, the legal aspect. How do you know you're doing stuff right? How do you know, how do I make sure I'm doing everything so I don't lose my license or something happen with my business? And those are completely valid. And I can tell you there is some, legal stuff that you do have to be compliant with. And my number one, there's 2 things you can do to kind of plan for this. First of all, before you even start your business, I did not do this. I wish I would have done this, but you live and learn. So I'm here to help you. Number one is make sure you take a course, and not just any course. You want a course on mobile IV therapy startup. Look at the reviews. I paid for a course that was $3,000 and it had good reviews. I took the course and it had a lot of good information, but it did not really give me a clear path. And so that led to a lot of frustration. And then there was a lot of me paying for stuff and then, coming back and being like, oh, I shouldn't have done that yet. And then there's this limbo of like, oh my gosh, are we even going to be able to start up? Well, from that, I was like, you know what? There is not much education out here for nurses, so I'm going to help with that. And so on the legal stuff, take a course. That is gonna be your first thing, because a good course, and I do teach one, but whether you take mine or not, it should teach what you need to verify within your state. Every state, of course, is a little bit different on their legalities. And so, like in my course, I go over, okay, we have to be compliant with more than just the Board of Nursing. What else do I need to look for? What else do I need to verify within my state? And once you know that that can be answered for you, then you're like, oh, okay, this makes me feel better. I just need to, make sure I have these answers. And as long as I have these answered, then I'm going, I will be golden. The problem is mobile IV therapy is very unregulated, which that just means like Joe Schmo down the road could open an infusion business, and unfortunately, unless anything goes wrong, they're probably not going to get in trouble. There are a couple states that are getting real strict on stuff, and I know Louisiana is one of those big ones, but most states are not at all. And so there will become a time, obviously, because infusions are getting more popular, and if you have all of your ducks in a row and you're set up compliant, then you will be just fine. So that is going to be the first thing, taking a course. And then the second thing of it is just, as long as you want to use a certain type of lawyer, you want to use a healthcare business lawyer. And the reason why is because they are familiar with healthcare law, but they're also familiar with business startup. I have seen some people on social media kind of educating, to start up a mobile infusion business, it's only X amount. And I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa, no, my lawyer costs more than that. But I also am, again, a rule follower. And think about if you have, I'm just gonna give an example. Say you break your leg, you're not medical, absolutely nothing. And you go to your PCP and they're like, oh, hey, you're fine. Just put some ACE bandage on there and you'll be fine. Just let it heal for 6 to 8 weeks. And you don't know anything medical. You're like, oh shoot, I thought I needed surgery. This is way cheaper. This is good. When really, you probably should have gone to ortho. I'm just giving a random example. And like say, you go to ortho, they're gonna be like, oh, well, this bone is broken. You actually need surgery to do this and this and this. They're the experts in that field. It's the same with lawyers. There are some general lawyers, business lawyers that are like, yeah, I can help you, but they don't always know healthcare law. They might talk to you like they know a lot of this stuff, but go with someone who's the expert in that area. I promise it will save you so much headache and stress, and you'll be like, okay, I know I'm set up right, we're good. So those are my 2 things on lawyer. The next things are going to be, sorry, let me reference my notes. Financial risk. I know that is a big one. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put all this money into it. What if I'm not successful? That is a thought. Like, that is so valid, and that's so good because that means that you care. Like, you care. And I can tell you, like, I am sure, unless there's, you know, some random person who's just like, I don't know, but 99% of people, like, that is a valid concern no matter what type of business you start with. I can give you peace of mind. Mobile IV therapy you do not need like $50,000 to start up. You need, I would say 10 to 15,000, and that is on the high limit, like high limit. I just always overestimate. I'd rather you overestimate, and then if it costs you 7,000, like, heck yeah, you saved $8,000, you know? And let me just give you an example. Just say it cost $12,500 to start up, and your average infusion is $199, which I would say is pretty, like, that's pretty average. And I know there's more factors in this, but mobile IV therapy does not have a lot of overhead. Like, I can tell you when we started, I needed to do 4, maybe 5 infusions to cover all of our bills per month. Like, that is doable. And so just divide 12,500, your startup cost, divided by 200, that is 62, we'll round up, 63 infusions that you have to do to pay that back. And then break that down to 12 months, you got to do 5 infusions a month to pay that back. Like, you can do it. It sounds scary, but then when you break it down, you're like, oh, I can do that. And like, I promise, like, yes, it's a scary step. The scariest step for me was when I like committed to the course, because I was like, all right, we're in. I paid $3,000. We're going. And then the next scariest step was like, obviously committing to the lawyer, because that was a big payment as well. But let me just tell you, like, it is totally doable to pay back. And, you know, in my mind, I was like, you know what, worst possible case, if I fail and we have $12,500 in debt, I can pick up a couple extra shifts at the hospital, like go back to my normal job, and I can pay that off. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck, but I can do it. At least I'm not like $20,000 in debt. That's cheaper than a car. Like, I can pay that off. So that was kind of my mindset, to where I was like, okay, you have to know it is a possibility you could fail, of course, but it's okay. You have a plan for not failing and for failing. And so doing this, so you kind of plan both ways. And I feel like it kind of takes the edge off, where you're like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And so that's what I would say on financial. The next thing is marketing. I know marketing still terrifies me, but you're like, I am a nurse. I don't know marketing. How do I market? And I can tell you, it does take time to learn, for sure. Like, it takes time to learn. I would say I'm pretty good at social media, but there's a completely difference in having like your social media for like your personal use and then a business. Because sometimes with your business, even though you're just trying to educate, people will be like, oh, she's trying to sell me. So it is harder to grow. But I can tell you, our first year in business, I did 0 paid ads. All I did was social media, events, and word of mouth. And we were able to pay our business off, and like, we're good. And that was without any paid ads. Paid ads will jumpstart your business. But of course, when you're starting, you're like, I don't have that extra money to do it. Looking back, I probably should have done it. But of course, I'm like, nope, not doing it. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it. And then there's also different types of infusions that you can do, like wellness infusions. There's a whole thing on this. When I say wellness, there's 2 types of infusions. You can have your acute one-time infusions that you're doing. So these usually get pretty busy in the winter because everybody's sick, and so they need hydration and they need to help their immune system. So winter is usually your busy time. Summer is a little bit slower. I know you're like, why? It's so hot outside. I don't know, it just is, at least where I'm at. And I've talked to other nurses who are, and they're like, yeah, it's slow here too. I'm like, weird. But that is kind of like, we have those, and then our wellness infusions. These are going to be your monthly recurring ones, and we're really treating oxidative stress. There's a whole like thing behind this, but I like having both because I like being able to help my patients and kind of, potentially save them trips to urgent care or ER and help their immune system and, really just help them. But then your wellness ones are going to be the ones that are really helping them long-term. We're supporting longevity. We're supporting healthy cellular health. You're going to feel better over time. You're going to age better. There's a lot of education and a lot more in depth than that, but these are going to be your monthly infusion, so it's going to help your patient, but also you're like, okay, I have this many infusions, this covers my this kind of like makes me a little less stressed in the summer when we're slower, but I know we still have business. So those are kind of like what I would highly recommend offering both. I love the wellness infusions. There's so much education on them, and you don't learn this in nursing school, not even really med school. It's more of like a functional medicine, but it is awesome being able to help someone. They're like, I am just always tired and I just don't know. And then looking at their health history and like kind of picking it all apart, and you're like, okay, well, we can implement infusions and blah, 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 blah. Infusions are not a cure all, fix all, but they definitely help. And then, a couple months down the road, they're like, man, I have so much more energy. I don't have that midday crash anymore. And you're like, yes, I love that. Anyways, I absolutely love it. But those are kind of probably the 3 things that you're concerned about. And let me tell you, just from experience, I had all of those. I still have some of those with marketing. Marketing's scary. But just know you're not going to be perfect, and your job is not to be perfect. And your job is to learn. So for me, when I tried marketing stuff and it didn't work, you're like, okay, instead of like I throwing in the towel, like, okay, this isn't working. What is going to work? So let's try this for a month or 2. If that doesn't work, let's tweak it. That's how it is with your business. Like a business is ever changing. I am still writing stuff and doing stuff, and that's what's fun. Once you get like all that put together, you're like, ooh, this is fun. How can I build this? It's like a video game. You're like building your little town. Like, how can we make this bigger? How can we help more people? How can we do this? That is when it gets fun, and that is like after the startup phase. But just know it's completely normal. From a nurse who has done it, I no longer work bedside. I do this full time, and I teach nurses how to do it. I hope I never have to go back bedside. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but I am in plans not to. I love this. I love it so much. I love the one-on-one care with the patients. I love the vitamin education. I love all of it. I just love it. And so if you've really been considering it, I would really say do it. Just do it. Whether you do it now or a year from now if you start it, you're going to look back and be like, dang it, I should have done it a year ago. I would be like so much farther than where I would be now. So that is my words of encouragement. I'm telling you, it's completely normal, and you learn as you go. Like you do. You just learn as you go. We know how to be nurses. We know how to start IVs. That is where we're good at. Everything else just takes time to learn. And so learn from someone who's done it. That way they can help you. Because if you learn from someone who's done it, that will save you time, that will save you money, that will save you, like, it'll just save you so much headache. So I always like to know, drop your comments if you have a different fear, or like what is your biggest concern. I would love for you to comment that below. I will answer it in a future video. I do have a newsletter that I just send out weekly, and it always has like the updated YouTube video on there, and also has tips and tricks to help you as well. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be literally your ultimate mobile IV therapy startup coach that I wish I would have had. I also have a course that I go through all of this and teach you. So if you're at the point you're like, I'm ready, let's do it. The link will be in the bio. It's mobileivtherapystartup.com. There's 2 options. There's a self-paced and a live. I'm telling you, I have them priced very close. Take the live. It will be so much, like, this is what you get. Like, I teach you on Zoom. I go through everything, and I teach you from like what has worked, what hasn't. The live is just a lot more in depth. But you also get access to the self-paced class. So, I mean, it's like a no-brainer. And I can answer your questions. Like, I'm telling you, you will have so much more guidance, and not just from a financial standpoint. Y'all, my course is priced like a 1/6 of what I paid. Like, yes, I put a lot of time and money into this, so I can't do it for free, and I can't really do it a lot cheaper, but I'm truly trying to help you guys. Like, I really am so passionate about this and helping nurses kind of get the like financial freedom, the time freedom, like all of that. Because I'm telling you, from a nurse who's done it, like I'm so glad. I'm so grateful. I love my patients. I love it all. So that is me. I'm just Nurse Tiffy. We own Anywhere Infusions, and I'm here to help you. And so I'll see you guys next week.